and maybe this sentence has been out for a while, or this saying, but I heard it recently, and it made me laugh so hard. But the word impossible, if you take out the I am of impossible, it says I'm possible. You ever heard that?
No, I have not. I'm possible.
Think
Dude, I
about
love that.
impossible. Take out the I am, put in a apostrophe, and then separate the words.
I'm
I'm
possible.
possible.
That's
Okay,
freaking
great.
brilliant.
Yeah, you hadn't heard that before. I was like, does everybody know it? It's like,
Nope.
so I saw that and I'm like, yes, I love that attitude because it's just a belief, right? Like, what is impossible in our minds? And I love to ask that question. I love to ask myself that question. I don't know why. I think I've always enjoyed it. What's impossible? And I've always been drawn to like tackling it. How could it be possible? That's the way my mind has always thought. But here's what's sneaky is I like to think about doing impossible things that I enjoy and like to do. What
Yep.
we don't think about, blind spots, right? And when those come to light, we're like, that's impossible. Like that feeling inside of, I don't know how I'm ever going to change that. There's no possible way I could ever do those things. We all have them. We all have them. We just posed the question recently to the mastermind group, and man, which I just want to say the mastermind group is just been on point. It's changed my soul here recently. It's leveled me up to a degree of I'm making big moves out here in the world because of what I'm getting from that group in my internal soul. Like I'm a different person. I've got more energy, more power in my mind, my beliefs, and what was impossible in the past has totally become possible.
Mm.
We'll get to that. I'm rambling right now, but once you get past your impossibles, the possibles, man, you look back and you're like, what a joke. Why did I even think that? Now I'm a pro at it. And so what else is like that out there? What do you think is impossible? And so in the mastermind group, we posed the question, bring your impossible. And we talked about it. And not one of us, all very highly successful people, all make big incomes, solid guys, very intelligent. And not one of them said what is their impossible was external. Like, we all joked about the $30 million jet. Not one of us said anything like that. It was all internal, emotional thought processes. And I thought it was fascinating because that's really where impossible lies, is on the inside. Nothing's really impossible out here within the realm of physics,
Yeah.
but the rest is all belief. It's all belief.
So beautiful. And I'm curious, man, I got to ask you, I feel like this is the perfect timing. Because he talks about the mastermind group and all of the guys we had enough time to share the impossible, but Ewan didn't have enough time to share his impossible.
Yeah.
Bro, let's get a sneak peek behind that impossible. What
Yeah,
is the
dude.
impossible for you and Hanemeyer?
I'm happy to talk about that. I'm still, believe it or not, I've written it down a couple of times, and I'm trying to word it well. But it's something to do. I always think about it, with our strengths and weaknesses and Enneagram and all that. One of my top five was man, what was my top five again? Yeah, it was
Ideation.
ideation.
Ideation,
Yep,
strategic.
ideation and strategy.
Yep.
And so I always think the end result, and I play it backwards. And from there, I know all the moves to make, and I'll play multiple variables, lots of variables. Like it could go this way, it could go that way, and I narrow in on what the most likely scenarios are, and I'll go in with. So I'm always prepared. Like I think if I was to be honest, it's probably to do with some kind of fear of not looking smart or being caught without the answers, and looking dumb
Hmm.
or even embarrassed. So I think when I was younger, I formulated that skill set, and it was for protection. That's why they're super skills for me now. But within saying that, when I think about all the variables, I can often think about all the good things that I want, but a lot of the times it's like, well, what if this thing happens, this bad thing happens, or this happens, and so I'll use the negatives as motivation, right? So now I'm using negative thought processes, um, the lack of abundance, the fear of not having. So that's what propels me. I gotta grind through this,
Mm.
and so I've always thought like that. So for me to even think kind of positively. I'm a very positive person. It's not to say that I'm not positive, but when it comes to like doing difficult things, I use uh, uh, things that are dire consequences. So it's like I can't have that happen. So I better execute so that
Mm,
bad thing doesn't happen. So I think it's something impossible for me is to think how could I use positive energy? Like how could I use positive thought processes to have what I want? And it has happened. Obviously there are some moments where I'm like, oh, I totally want this thing, and I absolutely go for it. And those are the ones that I could do effortlessly. In fact, I just look up and it's done. But that's kind of and normally they're huge things, and it just kind of manifests. It happens. But if it's just regular to dos like sales conversations, um, it could be anything. I'll think about negative consequences. To me, I'm like, I think it's impossible for me to just go off of positive thought processes.
mm.
I still have a hard time trying to verbalize it, but it's a feeling inside, and it doesn't feel great, you know. So I'm looking forward to throwing out to the group, just to give some feedback. Like, what is your thought process? Is like, for you, do you think when you want something, is it always? Do you ever think negatively in your mind and operate off of the negatives, or is it always based off of positives?
When I want something,
Yeah, yeah, or a difficult situation, like it's going to be tough. It's going to take like uncertainty, doubt, fear would be involved
yeah. Yeah, and you know
if
a
you
little bit
allow it.
about you know about me, right? And so it's funny you bring that up. It's funny with this is kind of like where we transitioned with accountability and the impossible. So
Yeah, this is basically a coaching session right here.
yeah, exactly.
I know it's
Well, it's
coming.
pretty much the way it's hitting me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Is yesterday I sent out 2 days ago Sunday I sent out a text message to you and another gentleman, and I said this looks like a blast,
Mm,
and the other guy responded in the message, by the way, there is a triathlon coming up, which is, if you're listening to this, a triathlon is you swim, you bike, and you run. None of us had ever done a triathlon in this group. Well, the first response from Ewan was, you know, basically along the lines of the impossible
mm.
is the way I'm receiving it from what you just told me in your
Yeah,
wordage.
it's a great
Not
point.
enough
This
time.
weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, this weekend. Well, immediately the next morning, I picked up the phone and called this guy.
Mm,
And I said, tell me more. Give me the details. 24 hours. I let it sink in. I have a 24-hour turnaround when I make decisions like that. I said, Kendra, give me the logistics. Can we make this happen based on our prior obligations and our responsibilities with the run club? And the timeline matches up and I can do it. So to some people, right,
yes.
that's the impossible.
Yeah.
But to me, it's, hey, sink or swim. This is failing
Literally.
for literally. And the
Yeah.
funny thing is, I have a video, Ewan. I'll send it to you. And if you're listening to this, by the way, text me 936-788-4295. I probably won't put it on social media, but I'll share the video with you if you're interested in seeing the video. Because
What is
I
it?
get vulnerable. I get vulnerable, bro. I haven't shared it on social media. I don't know if I should share it.
Oh, dude,
And
I share it, man. I love it. Whatever it is, we need to see it because I, whatever you're going to show is like whatever behind the scenes things that don't maybe look great is the reason you are great when they do see you.
well, see, but my agenda, well, the funny thing is, like, in my mind, if I roll something out on social media, what it's gonna it, there'll be it'll do one or two things for me, right? It's when you roll something out on social media and you say you're gonna do something, that's accountability
Yes,
to the
accountability.
to
You're
the
locked in.
impossible. If you said it on the podcast, if you wrote it on social media, you're gonna be doing the triathlon this weekend. That's accountability to your impossible. So in
Yeah.
my mind, to reach the impossibles, right? Because depending on how society views you, how you view your impossibility, to society, to somebody that's done a triathlon, they're like, dude, yeah, it's a piece of cake. Show up and do the swim and do the bike ride, do the run. You're good.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm like, bro, I've never swam a day in my life.
That was going to be my question. Like that, honestly, it's that when my turnaround time wasn't 24 hours to make the decision; it was 24 seconds. I
Yeah.
said, I can't swim 800 meters. I want to go. I need to go learn. And I
Well,
want
how do you
to.
learn?
I get a coach.
No, you go and do.
Well, yes, yeah. I could go do, but in hanging around with you now, like I'm jumping straight to coach. I'm not gonna go. I could go watch YouTube videos and go practice my swim. I'm just gonna go hire and get 6 lessons. I'm gonna get 6 sessions with a
Can I
coach.
share something with you?
Yeah. Go for it.
That's like you telling me, and I said, "Hey, go start this business." You have your why, right?
Yeah,
Because it's aligned with that's, hypothetically, you have your why, you have all your values. Well, I'm going to go hire a coach before I start this business.
yeah. It's a great point, dude. It's a
What's the
good point.
fastest way to learn the skill sets? The
It's
fastest
go
way to
do
get
and fail.
the
Go do and
schooling.
fail.
Alex Hormozy talks about it. SKOOL.com.
Yeah,
Spells it wrong. School.com.
yeah,
So and again, man, if you're listening to this, it's not one size fits all. You do it differently than me, but I'm just talking to you in
yeah.
this
No,
in this
I love it that
podcast.
you're putting the mirror up to my face and really analyzing it because I just went off of what I would normally. I will throw this in too. Like I'm highly focused on high rocks, and I'm like I'm zoned in on this building block for
Sure.
4 or 5 months for Dallas.
Yeah, it's impossible. I get it.
Yeah, but that's the thought process. So let's what do I need to analyze here? Like I do want to do it, but a part of me was like, I don't want to do it now. Like I saw the Rich Froning video you sent, and do you know what he said at the end of it? He's the
I know what
fittest
he
man in the
said.
world 5 times in a row, and he was on his knees. He had his hands on his knees, buckled over. He's like, "It's one of the hardest things I've ever done." I'm like, okay, I'm fittish, but I'm not like I don't even own a bike. I haven't owned a bike in a decade, which it
But
sounds like another impossible thing. Which
it is the impossible.
I could go
That's
buy one.
that's the impossible. But that's the beautiful thing about the impossible. See, the fact that we're even talking about this, the fact that you're saying it's impossible tells me you should do it. Tells me I should do it.
Yeah,
We're going
yeah,
to learn so much because you won't go out and get a coach. You won't go out and get a mentor. And if you're listening to this, you can probably resonate with that. How many
mhm,
times you're like, oh, that's impossible? You're not going to
yeah,
go do, if you think something's impossible, there's a disconnect. You're not going to go do the things you know you need to do,
yeah,
right? To do
yeah.
that. And then the times that you do that, you're like, oh, dang, we're going to the High Rocks World Championship. Oh, dang, we're going to France with my best friend. Oh, dang, we're going to experience a 1% opportunity because of the accountability, because of what was impossible to you, somebody else, right? Accountability to the community, rolling it out on social media, accountability to yourself, accountability to your business partner. Look who you've become because that was impossible if you don't have me, if you don't have the community and you don't roll it out on social media, you don't have your wife, you don't have all the support. You're just you in. You're just a version that says, nope, that's impossible 4 months ago.
Do they? Did they? So, and this is a genuine 800-meter swim. That's twice around the track in the water. I know if I was to jump in a pool right now and do like 2 laps, I'm gonna start going like I don't know if I'm gonna sink or swim or not. Like that's only 50 meters,
And
so I
that's
still.
okay. But I'll
Did
ask
they
you,
have floating
did you die?
devices?
Hey, did you die?
No. Well, that's the concern on this is like if I start going down, like, well, what is the? How do I? If I can't swim 400 meters and I start going down halfway, like,
Let me stop
what
you
do
right
you?
there.
Yeah,
You're forward thinking, backwards planning. You're already talking yourself out of this.
yeah.
The impossible. How are you going to know unless you show up and do it? You may go through and crush it, or you may leave on defibrillators in the ambulance. I don't know. Maybe.
I need to see if and that's true. And I will go there. Like once the decision's made, I will push through. Like if I've committed, I will do it. And to me, I definitely am going to do a triathlon. I want to do it well. You know what? I want to do it well. So to me, I'm like I want to enjoy it, and I want to know like I'm going to be able to push myself and not
But it
worry
won't be
about
well.
dying.
It won't be well. It won't be perfect. It won't be. It'll be on you and terms. Cool. Nobody's pushing you to do this, right? But the point of this episode today is this is the impossible.
Yeah,
What you've normally experienced in the past at your age and what you've done in your experiences, you're like, forward thinking, backwards planning, strategically, having everything perfect, having everything aligned. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go dominate. But this episode is about the impossible, bro.
Yeah.
About doing things that you have no clue that you're going to be comfortable with, the uncertainty,
Yeah.
the outcome. You have no clue. That's the impossible,
Yeah.
right? And to me, that's what gets me fired up because I even told Kendra this morning at our breakfast, I was like, I'm not going to lie. This is aligned with my beliefs and values, but we have an obligation and responsibility for our run club. But it excites me because it's scary. It puts fear. It is scary because
Yeah.
I'm not I'm not going to say I'm not a swimmer. I'm a swimmer, baby. I'm a swimmer,
Oh, I'm a
right?
swimmer.
And,
Yeah,
and if
good
I got to
call.
go out and dog paddle, that's my
Swim like a
mentality. If I got to go out and dog paddle, right?
That's right, dude.
Yeah. Oh,
This
and then I'm gonna share a story, kind of shifting gears a little bit in the impossible and the accountability. You ready for this?
yeah.
Level Up and Live Run Club every Friday. If you're listening to this and you're in Montgomery County and you're a business owner, you need to come join us. We are stepping on the gas. We are making things happen. It's community impact and it's free. Every Saturday, rain or shine, whether Sean's there, Ewan's there, somebody's going to be there.
If you're a leader,
5:30 a.m., 6:30 a.m.
if you feel like
Conroe
you're a
High
leader
School.
in any area of your life, like even if you're a mother, father, and you lead your family, you need to come run. If you lead a
100%.
business, if you're an entrepreneur, high level person, someone that wants to be a high level person, come to the run club. You will be a different person afterwards. You will not be the same after one
Nope.
session of coming. It's free.
Agreed. And we're not just saying that. Other people in our social media platforms are saying that. I'm so glad I showed up. I'm so glad I came, and they're looking forward to this next Saturday. The individual that has been coming every week for the last 4 weeks, he has showed up, and every time we have walked, we jogged, or we ran. And in that 60 minutes, at the very end, we do a fun finisher, which it's bleachers. Well, 2 weeks ago, we started off at 5 bleachers. The following week, we did 6 bleachers. I asked him this week, I said, how many bleachers are we doing? He said, hesitantly, 7. I was like, you can do math. We're doing 7 bleachers. So immediately in his brain, he's thinking, this is the impossible, Sean. There's
Mm,
no way I can do this. I can't. I heard these words in his vocabulary. And in my mind, I'm immediately went to accountability, not only to himself, but to me. When you tell somebody, see, here's the power of the impossible. When you're in small group coaching, and we've seen this in coaching and small group coaching, that's accountability.
yeah.
The version of you that gets that accountability, when you see the impossible, when you have a disconnect in the blind spot of that impossible, and then you have somebody that believes in that you can, that has that availability to guide you along the way, you look back and go, oh, 5 bleachers, that's it. And now he's doing 7. We started the bleachers. 1 did good. 2 did good. 3 went up, started breathing a little heavy. 4 sweating, breathing a little heavy. 5 he see 4 weeks ago he thought the impossible was 5,
Yeah.
right? That's what he told himself 4 weeks ago. But because he had the accountability, because he was able to shed the light on, oh, I can do 5. I've been here before, Ewan. I've been here before. I've done this.
Yeah.
Just like you in the
Certainty.
triathlon. I've done this before.
Yeah.
Versus waiting to hire a coach and mentor, which you know you won't do. Probably, maybe.
I will. I
Who
make a
knows?
commitment. I promise I am getting a
Yeah.
swim coach. Yeah.
Not putting words in your
Yes.
mouth. Sorry. I'm just saying maybe, perhaps. But with him, it's like, okay, 5 bleachers. I've been here. 6, haven't been. I've been here. 7, he starts walking up, or he starts a 30-second rest. I can't do this. There's no way. Starts breathing hard, starts shaking his head back and forth. And I know that body language. And that is typically when we want to throw in the towel. That's impossible. There's no way. Uncertainty, never been here before, no experience whatsoever. That is how you grow. That is how you level up. That is
Yeah.
how you continue to be 1% better every single day, is by stretching those limits. And guess what? He got to the very top, touched the wall, came back down, and did 7 bleachers.
Mm.
7 bleachers when he thought he couldn't, when he thought it was impossible. Because of the accountability to himself, because of the accountability partner, he was able to do what it was in his mind, the impossible.
And I will say, I think he did the 7 easier, better than he did the 6
Yeah,
and 5. Like afterwards, he was in better breathing shape. He wasn't buckled over nearly as much. It was still tough for him, but if I was just to play it back, he was in better shape doing the 7 than he was the 5,
agreed.
which is there's the growth.
Yeah.
right? Like when I think that's true, when I think about the marathon, if someone says you want to do a marathon again, before it would be like pit in the stomach, like heart would drop, like how do you even do? But now I think of marathon, I'm like, I know exactly what to do. It would just be enjoyable. I
Yeah.
mean, it would just be train, run, beat my time, have fun.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%, man. If you're listening to this, if you struggle with accountability, if you're like, dude, this resonates with me so much, I want to reach out to these guys, text me 936-788-4295. That is 936-788-4295. Ewan knows this. We don't give out text messages, but we're dialing in, we're honing in, we're making things happen. And if you struggle with accountability, or maybe you don't think we struggle with accountability, I'll tell you right now, we all can use help with accountability. That's probably for another episode, but you helped me with that, Ewan, because originally I was like, I don't need accountability. Well, I do
Mm.
need accountability if I'm going to level up and live my best life.
I never heard you say that before, man. Because you really don't struggle with accountability in the realm of getting things done. But can you speak to that?
Nope, got to
'Cause-
go.
'cause-
See you later.
That's funny, dude.
All right, I guess we can extend the episode a little bit.
Yeah, just a few minutes because that's really insightful. Because a lot of people, I think, might, and you really like. If anyone didn't need it, it's you. But a lot of people truly do. So to hear your process with that would be great.
Yeah, I think there's different ways to look at accountability. So some may look at accountability as like, no, I don't need accountability. I'm a disciplined person. I get things done and make things happen. That was me. Then there's other people like, I suck at accountability. I can't tie my shoe without, my wife telling me or my spouse telling me to tie my shoe. I can't do the things in my daily life that exercising, working out, I need these different tools to hold me accountable. So somebody that struggles with accountability and somebody that doesn't. In my mind, it was, I don't struggle with accountability because there's three levels of accountability. There's accountability to yourself, accountability to your partner, accountability partner, business partner or spouse, and then accountability to your community. So I've always leveraged those three, right? If I roll it out to the community, hey, this is what I'm doing. It's time to sink or swim, right? I'm gonna make it happen. Accountability to a partner, business partner. So making sure, hey, this is what I say I'm going to do, aligning it with your actions. And then
Yeah.
accountability to yourself. Well, here's the thing. I feel like about 2 years ago, I was like, nope, I got this figured out. Accountability. I don't need you to tell me what to do. And that's kind of how I looked at it. Ego and pride. It was
Mm,
ego and prideful driven. Whereas now I'm like, dude, no, by you explaining and giving context behind it and the perspective is like, no. I know you don't need somebody hovering over you or holding you accountable like the first person may need, like the guy in the bleachers, right? He
yeah.
needs that accountability. He
Yeah.
knows he does.
Hands on.
Hands on. Whereas I'm like, I don't need that. I'll push until I die.
Yeah.
However, there is different areas of life where I need accountability. And like I
Mm,
shared in the mastermind group,
yeah.
that's been a game changer for me last Friday in the
Yeah.
mastermind group with, man, that feels impossible. Well, to a certain degree, there needs to be some kind of accountability in my mind because it's not for selfish reasons and prideful and ego reasons. I don't want to think about it right now. I don't want to stare it down. I want to sweep it underneath the rug.
Mm,
But if I give you guys the permission to, hey, hold me accountable to have this conversation
yeah.
with this other individual,
Yeah.
then that's accountability to my partnership. And
Yeah.
that is lowering the pride, lowering the ego in that
Yeah.
regards.
Because there is always that hard thing for all of us. And I think, like, kind of like we mentioned, I think we have 50 of those impossibilities. We might think we have one or two. I don't even know what
Yes,
my other 49 are, but they're
exactly.
there.
Yep.
And I say just picking a random number, but it's because it's the belief system. Like we said at the start, impossibilities are beliefs, and
Yes.
we operate within the realm of what we believe, and that is there. And it's very hard to think outside of that. Um, but if someone else is doing it, well, then it's not impossible because they're doing it, right? So it have to be an internal conversation for all of us in any area. So yeah, when it's tricky like that, and having the accountability to help someone see, like you helping me see what I don't see. Well,
Yes.
that's accountability right there. And
Yes.
and if you can't see something, well, then you can't do anything about it. And it's
100%.
with you all the time. It's not that it's not there. It's always there, and it's
Exactly.
weighing you down, especially with something that like it's important to your or crisscrossing over your values that doesn't align well. That's a weight in your soul pulling you
Yeah.
away. So by getting clarity, man, that is the all you need is clarity. You just need to be able to see what it is. Like, what is the belief that I have? And then you can challenge it. And that's always a beautiful thing. And you might end up saying, "Oh, I love this belief. I'm going to stick with it." Or, "Nope, by changing that, I'll be able to do this." And that's something I've always wanted to have. Then that's worth pursuing.
I think that's why coaching like the coaching clients have been so impactful, and all their
Mm.
friends and family have been asked. Even in our community, there's guys in their 20s that are coming up to the guys that we've coached, and they're saying, "What are you doing, bro?" They're trying to pick their brains in what they're
Yeah,
doing. And
it's
they're sitting
cool.
there saying, they don't have all the answers. They're saying, well, I got a coach, got a mentor. But at the end of the day, they've just become clear. They've visualized, they've got the mentor, they've got the coaching, they've had the one-on-one, right? With going slow to go fast. But I think that's the key ingredient is having that guidance, having that shedding that light on the blind spots, the impossibles of the
Yeah.
worlds, and then lowering the ego and the pride, letting, hey, I don't care how old you are, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, doesn't matter. All the greats in the world, they continue to have the coaching and the mentoring. And so because of the different blind spots, and
They
yeah,
never go
man,
away. You'll never be fully blind spot free. You'll never
no,
not have impossibles. They will be there until the day you die. It's just how many do you want to make I'm a possible? And the more accountability, the more insights, the more clarity via coaching and accountability partners, mastermind groups, people you respect, you will check off more and more of those impossibles, and life will be beautiful
yep,
because you're free from being restricted. Impossibilities are restrictions; they're
yep,
prisons. So yeah, thanks for coaching me today, dude.
yeah, man.
That was
Triathlon
it
Saturday,
was
Magnolia Hill Ranch. to be
whew,
to be determined. To be determined.
TBD. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, if you're listening to this, thank you so much. You are part of the 1% Club. You are leveling up and living your best life. So thanks so much for hanging with us. And make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. Drop in the comments what you like about the episode if you're watching this on YouTube or any of our social media outlets. And also text 936-788-4295, 936-788-4295. If you struggle with any of these things that we've talked about, and let's see if we can help you out. Outside of that, level up and live, baby.
Level up and live.